Good morning, everyone. Just a little bit of note today. I'm the Reverend Dr. Lewis Gates, and on behalf of our pastor and our board of trustees, I'd like to welcome you to our Sunday morning service here on April 26th. I'm going to start the service with a prayer. Infinite Spirit, I want to thank each and every one here today, listening to this show, listening to this church service, that we allow the energy, the vibration to move into your life, to uplift you and to bless you on your journey, and to help and bless the ones that are sick and ill, the ones that are in the hospitals, the ones that have lost someone, that we send them love, encouragement, and blessings from this church. This we ask. Amen. I want to first of all, before we go into our principles, our service is going to be in like two parts today. We're going to go into principles, and then I'm going to read the healing prayer, and then I'm going to go into a meditation, and then I'm going to bring up Reverend Diane Davis to do the lecture today. Remember, if you are part of a spiritualist church, or you're part of this spiritualist church, know that you can always go to the camp website at Cassadaga.org and donate to the association. Or if you belong to another spiritualist church, remember most spiritualist churches are closed right now in the state of Florida. So your support, even though we're closed, keeps us going and keeps us operating. I want to start our service off with our declaration of principles. There are 9 principles. Don read most of them today during his lyceum. We believe in infinite intelligence. We believe that the phenomena of nature, both physical and spiritual, are the expression of infinite intelligence. We affirm that a correct understanding of such expression and living in accordance therewith constitute true religion. We affirm that the existence and personal identity of the individual continue after the change called death. We affirm that communication with the so-called dead is a fact scientifically proven by the phenomenon of spiritualism. We affirm that the highest morality is contained in the golden rule. Whatsoever ye would that others should do unto you, do ye also unto them. We affirm that the moral responsibility of the individual, that he makes his own happiness or unhappiness as he obeys or disobeys nature's physical and spiritual laws. We affirm that the doorway to reformation is never closed against any human soul, here or hereafter. We affirm that the precepts of prophecy and healing contained in the Bible are divine attributes proven through mediumship. As we go into our healing part of the service, I want you just to relax in your vibration, but we're going to read the prayer first before I take you in a short meditation. Our prayer for spiritual healing is what we recite every Sunday service during our services, and all our services. This is said from the platform. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from my mind and body, and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask the great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help, and restore them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and power of God. Now, what I want you to do is just Okay. Our service to our lecturer today will be done today. She's a teacher, reverend. She's been in this camp. I think she was here when George Colby put up the first piece of wood, but tells me she's younger than that. So I'd like to bring up Reverend Diane Davis.
Okay. Thank you for that compliment. Now I really feel ancient. Good morning. It's delightful to have you all with us, and I know many of you, and I know some of you a little bit, and I know some of you not at all. Cassadaga, the spiritualist camp, has stood for many things. Most people know us for mediumship and life after death and that understanding. However, hope and potentials have been given here for years and years and a couple more years. And so most of us learn through our principles and through our studies about providing hope and a feeling of tomorrow. Change is happening for all of us. It's happening at a pace that none of us expected. The surprise element of it is there, and it continues to stay with us as we look at the things we can't do, should be able to do, want to do, and feel a sense of restriction. However, what you going to do tomorrow? And that's my theme today. What you going to do tomorrow? Years and years ago, I was in the hospital. And the night I checked in, there was a lovely lady who was sharing the hospital room with me, and her name was Mrs. Lucky. And I never knew her before, and I did not get a chance to talk with her because there were several friends and family in the waiting room, and we were all having a gathering before I was sedated and went to bed. So when I came to, and I was kept in recovery for overnight, I came back and there was another person in the bed, and her name was Ann Luck. And if you don't believe me, I have a witness in a friend named Vince. And the interesting thing about Ann Luck, which I'd like to share with you today, is she was incredibly brave. And Lewis mentioned in the meditation about being a warrior, and she was. A young woman who had come down from Connecticut to have radiation treatments for a malignant brain tumor. And I was there sharing the room with her, and neither one of us looked really good. And we were both going through a lot. We didn't get to know each other well at first. But after 2 weeks of the hospital, we learned to share gently. She didn't talk a lot. She reached a point of not wanting to talk even to her fiance, who was in Connecticut. And I began to be very aware of her late at night when neither of us could sleep. And I went over to her one night and I pulled a chair close to her bed. And I put my hand on her leg and I said, Ann, what you going to do tomorrow? What are you going to do when you leave? What do you want to do in your future? And that's where all of us exist to this day. Well, Ann went through a lot of difficulty. She had an awful lot of pressure in her life and a lot of difficulty with her physical health issues. But later, a year later, I got a Christmas card from her. And one thing she had told me that night in the hospital was that she would love to be a counselor for the American Cancer Society. And I said that would be a wonderful thing because you would have the firsthand knowledge and the greater understanding of what it is and what it's like. She wrote me a Christmas card that she was back in Connecticut working for the is it association or society? Anyway, the American Cancer Society as a counselor, and that she was married and soon to be pregnant with a child. And the exciting thing about that is she stood out in my life as somebody who took an experience and made the best of it. To this day, I don't know what's occurred for Ann. I don't know how her life has gone. I wish her so well. And I know that all those years ago, what a remarkable experience it was to ask her what you're going to do tomorrow. So, what are you going to do tomorrow? Where is your life going to go? You have grief about no work. You might have grief about your home being pressured or a difficulty in paying your bills. Where are you going to go? What you going to do? So life happens, and sometimes when it happens quickly, where there's devastation or destruction, it can create a disruption for us emotionally, and ultimately a sense of depression or a fear of what to do in time ahead. However, one thing that happens if change occurs slowly is it often leads to depression. It often leads to people not feeling that they can move forward. So grief is real, loss is real, and those real things are out there and are happening for all of us at this time. And there's an invisible thing that everybody recognizes in the coronavirus that may show up, that may not, that may have its intensity and severity in our lives, and it may not. And the issue today, to me, is that the infinite that we recognize, and the infinite, no matter what you believe in, is always everything and one thing more. It's that new thought, it's that new awareness, it's that next breath that you take, it's that new idea that you have, it's that awareness that there's always more. You are not going to go to lesser. You are going to go to more if your eyes are open and if your eyes are willing to see. And change is here, whether those of us who like it, or those of us who are like the little child holding on to the parent's leg saying, I don't want to change. We're all going to go into it because it's already started and it's already very, very, very large. It feels like life has this wonderful sense of expansion. We talk about in spiritualism about natural law, and the laws of expansion and contraction are happening every moment. Whether it's a breath that you take in and you expand it internally, and then you contract out by blowing it out, inhaling and exhaling, whether it's a new thought that you expand in and recognize, whether it's you let loose of the old thought, you're doing this expansion and contraction in your life always, in every way. And that's going to happen as well. Yes, we're going to go through changes and more changes, but there's hope in it. And the reason I say that is springtime is a wonderful time of watching expansion happen in nature. And I have a box that's outside in an overhung area right beyond my kitchen window. And there's a cardboard box in this area that looks like it needed to be thrown out in 1992. However, that box is still there and it has a few twigs and leaves kind of coming out of the top of it. But the beautiful thing is every year, the wrens show up and I hear them, and they're on reconnaissance in the beginning because they're going out in nature and they're adding to that nest. So that nest has sort of overwhelmed the box. The box isn't that big. However, I watched the other day as they were starting to add to their nest, and a nesting will occur, and eventually there will be 3 eggs, and eventually, hopefully, 3 little baby wrens. And if you've never seen a baby wren, they are so cute. They have a little tuft of hair sticking up, and when they fly for the first time, in my experience, they will teeter a little bit before they get their little flying wings moving. But once they leave the nest fully, they don't return. And the beauty of the wrens, and the beauty of looking out and saying, oh, the wrens are back, is the fact that life goes on. The visualizing that we do in meditation, the visualizing that we encourage with healing, is a visualization that I would like to just give you a quote that I have. And it's that visualizing can make it be if you take the time to make it be. So many times, what happens is we wish for something, we hope for something, and yet we don't take the steps towards making it be. With serious health issues, there may be a visualization of tissue. There may be a visualization of improvement in some way, and yet making it be might be just taking a nap and resting and let the body ease. So it doesn't always mean a big step, and yet sometimes it can be that. This is a time period for all of us to begin to visualize how we want the world to happen and what we want to move into. Because one thing that we teach is creativity, and one thing that we encourage is your own intuition being your guidance, no matter what you believe in, no matter who you believe in, no matter how you believe it, but that you follow something within yourselves that allows you to feel that knowingness, that certainty, that inner guidance, that inner sense of direction for whatever ideas and whatever it is that you wish to accomplish. And that is a part of that expansion that I mentioned a little while ago. God is everything and one thing more. It's that one new idea. It's that one step that you take toward that idea. It's that one new realization, that one new relationship, that one new person that you meet on the street, that one person that helps you in the grocery store, that one thing, that one thing, that one thing. And there's always more. The soul of you is a forever thing. It is a forever thing. No matter what you believe in happens after the change called death. It's to recognize the soul of you is not killed out, not perished, but the soul of you is a forever thing. Because of that, you have this wonderful capability to expand and expand because the soul wants to create. And that's all it does is wants to create, and it will create out of joy and it will create out of boredom because those are the only two emotions that it knows. So what happens in a time like this when certain things occur that we don't seemingly have control over? Well, what you going to do tomorrow? And what do you have control over? You have control over self. Self is constantly adding to itself. That's the expansion. You're constantly adding to you, whether it is you do it with intention or whether it is that you go by the refrigerator too often and you're not paying attention to how often it is. However it occurs, that expansion, the contraction occurs when we are in fear. The contraction occurs when we are holding life within ourselves, our thoughts within ourselves, and we're not allowing the movement within life to show us the next step or the next set of runs that are here or the next opportunity that comes to your door. There are so many things that we have the ability to do. And certainly in our lives at this time, some of the things that we have done and the jobs that many people have had no longer exist. And certain things are changing. That doesn't mean that your life is gone. That doesn't mean everything is over. It means for a discovery and an exploration of that wonderful place within each of us that knows that there is everything and one thing more. And it may not have been discovered or explored in depth, but you will because you have that capability. Louis L'Amour, the author, had a wonderful quote.
Could another come around the corner, or could it play out differently? I wanted to help protect myself.
Excuse me, I just touched something and now it's talking to me.
To treat and help prevent lipidity or PE blood clots. Oh, so sorry.
did it show that I'm not technologically inclined? Louis L'Amour has a wonderful quote, and I have used it time and time again because it says, "A ship doesn't sail on yesterday's wind." And that's the truth. Your life does not depend on who you've been. Your life does not depend upon yesterday and any successes that you may have had or failures that you perceive that were there. Your life depends on you now. The control of you, the control of making whatever you can happen, and what you can't, you can wait and observe how to participate in life. We can't go backwards. We can't go back to what we think should happen or should exist. But what we can do is move forward, because what you're going to do tomorrow, and how are you going to behave? And are you going to look at society and recognize the changes that are occurring? Families may be getting to know each other a little bit better. That's a possibility. Families may be having an opportunity to participate together when life is often very hectic for them and they've not had that chance. Sometimes when we have this solitude and a reflective essence time, it is not a punishment, it is just a period of experience called a pandemic that we're riding through. And all of us will go in our own unique ways in riding through it. So what are you going to do tomorrow? What you going to do? And how are you going to do it? And have you looked into all possibilities? Are you waiting for somebody to rescue you? Or are you taking steps to rescue yourself in whatever way you can? Are you looking ethically at life and participating with all that is? Are you participating with humanity in a way that says, I can help, I can heal, and I will do that for myself as well as those around me and in the world? There's so much going on that people are doing for each other, and so many things that are out there that are programs and opportunities that people are participating with. I became very aware that we thank the first responders so much, and I am indeed very grateful for their activities and their participation. And then I think of the people, like the people who pick up our garbage, and how brave they are as well. So I feel there are people constantly who are in positions where they are participating in life as they know how. And so many of them are brave, and so many of you are brave as well. What you're going to do tomorrow? Well, you're going to discover more and more what you want to be as this time changes and as we become. I may get a cell phone that works differently from what I've owned for the last 12 years. I may learn how to handle a computer, and that will be an adventure in itself. And I may actually be able to access the GPS in my car once I get a new phone, and that'll be an adventure easily, because all of those technological things for me are overwhelming, and yet that doesn't mean I'm not willing to make an effort and I'm not willing to try. Your life is filled with all kinds of opportunities to try this and to try that, to take this step, to move into that idea, to move into any experience. And I encourage you wholeheartedly. There's more and more and more available, accessible within you as new thought and new ideas. And there's always more. Just don't sail on yesterday's wind. Move forward and see what the new wind will take you into. And I thank you.
Thank you, Diane Davis, for an awesome lecture. We had a lot of people thought it was extremely inspirational and loved it. So I want to tell you, next week, remember, we have Richard Russell will be doing our Sunday service next week. And right now, I think it is Reverend Don Zengi will be doing the Lyceum again. So tune in next week. Hopefully, we'll be opening at some time here in the near future, and that'll be addressed on our website. As soon as we're open, we will set you in the perfect space here in the church if you want to be here. But it'll be posted on our website when we're able to open. So I want to close the service with a prayer. Infinite Spirit, I want to thank each and every one of us. And also, as Diane said, thank our first responders, all of them, the ones who pick up our trash, the ones who work in the stores, the ones who work in the hospitals, all our people that are out on the front lines for us to keep us healthy, to keep us well, and keep us safe. Send our prayers out to them and encourage them, and send our prayers out to our loved ones, our immediate family, to bless and encourage them on their journey. As we say, amen. Hope to see you next week. Hope to see you here next week. Stay tuned for the website at cassadaga.org. You can always look there and see what's going on. Thank you.